later. Why? Because he gave up the ego. He did not bother about anything. Duryodhana is telling, okay, fine, let him tell. Scold me, okay, let him scold me. Shishupala is scolding me, let him scold. But after 100, I will kill him. So like that. He has got everything worked out. So this kind of idea we should have. That is your answer. That what is the difference? Holy Mother asks, what happens? Do horns grow? Nothing happens. What happens is their whole world perspective changes. They do everything, but not with the idea that I am doing. Not with the idea that I am doing. They also eat food, but not with the idea that I am enjoying. Okay, this is the difference. But that difference nobody will be able to understand from the outside. So, again the same reason, Jiva Brahma Aikya, this unity of the self and also Brahman, it has been told so many times in this Upanishad. In fact, many mantras are so often repeated. So, I also told you that please memorize these mantras. I would like to share one thing with you for this revision, but before that I will tell you. So, this people keep on forgetting, is it not? Keep on forgetting. So, because people forget, again the Upanishad is telling that how Brahman is immanent, how your true reality Atman is all pervading. So, we will see that shloka and I will come to that. Please repeat after me. Agnir yathaiko bhuvanam pravishto rupam rupam प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतांतरात्मा रूपम रूपम प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च. अग्नि यथा अग्नि, एकः अग्नि. So fire is how many? Only one. Ekah Agni. So fire is one thing. It is not that you have so many things of fire, etc. One kind of fire. But if you go to Bhilai, you will see that fire is being poured. How can fire be poured? But you will see that it is actually being poured, and so much of sparks and all will come. If you go near, you will be simply become like Terminator. No, Terminator movie, what happens? This person goes and becomes full liquid. So it is fire. Fire is being poured. Red hot iron. So fire takes the shape of iron. You see charcoal. It is fire, but it is in the shape of all the burning wood. It is in the shape of a wood. So it is fire. Then lighter is there, then so nice flame comes, that is fire. A different kind of fire. Yatha eka agni, same fire, bhuvanam pravishta. Bhuvanam means world. Here bhuvanam can also means bhavanam or a particular place, but here bhuvanam means world. World. Rupam rupam pratirupa bhavuva. It assumes different forms according to the place it is there. In Bhilai it is different, in a red hot iron it is different, in a what you call gas cylinder fire is different, gas stove fire is sometimes it is blue, etc. So different kinds of fire. Then timber fire is different, firewood fire is different. Same fire, sometimes you will see red, sometimes you will see yellow, sometimes you will see blue, but fire is same. All these fires will burn, they are not different fires. How? They are assuming different forms. In gas stove you will see it is as though different from different holes it is coming. It will as though appear like water drops. No, gas stove if you put it in sim, it will appear the water drops, but it is also fire. Then you see the fire which is created, then that fire, forest fire, huge fire, Davanala. Sometimes world is compared to Davanala, forest fire, huge fire. Once in Mayavati the fire was there, now and then sometimes it happens. and then we had to run and put it off, all sadhus, otherwise what will happen? The whole forest will be burnt down. So that is naturally created fire. Something happens and the fire comes, or sometimes artificially created. Some fellow has this Ganesh Bidi, and one Ganesh Bidi, 50 paisa, will create some fire. So this fire, but all this fire is essentially one, but depending upon the circumstances it takes different forms. Similarly, ekaha tatha, the Atma tatha, same way, ekaha sarva bhuta anta Atma, sarva bhuta anta, this Atma, the soul which is residing in sarva bhuta anta, inside all the bhuta. Bhuta means not ghosts but living beings, not ghost but living beings. Bhuta, bhuta, rupam pratirupa bahishcha. So it is actually staying inside all the persons. So one person has got a spectacle, another person has got hair like Shah Rukh Khan, another person like Rajnikant, another person is fair, another person is unfair, means not unfair in that sense, but not fair. So like that, somebody is wearing t-shirt, somebody is smiling, somebody is yawning, somebody is sleeping, etc., etc. So why does this happen? Different, but the same Atma, Hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati, Brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra arudani mayaya. As though through maya, through the ignorance, through my power, what I do? Yantra arudani. So you go and sit in your nano. Some people have some nano, they sit in that. So sometimes nano feels smaller than your size if you are fat and all that. So nano you drive. So like that, yantra arudani mayaya. So you sit on the nano and you are driving it. Similarly, sarveshu bhuteshu hriddeshe arjuna tishtati. I sit in the heart, space of heart. I will ask you a very silly question. What happens when somebody gets myocardial infarction? What does that mean? Heart attack. So this Krishna also will be attacked. Not like that. Heart means not our physical heart. That is in the left side. This is in the center of the body. It is more a, what you call, a spiritual place. If you cut a person and see where is the heart, where is this, all the Purusha, Angushta, Matram and all, thumb size, you will not get. So people have done it and found no, there is no heart. So this is more a figurative thing, a place for meditation. So that in that heart, Hriddeshe, in the space of heart, tishtati, I say, stay, Arjuna, oh Arjuna, Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita. So just like Agni, though it is one Agni only, it takes different forms depending upon the circumstances or the fuel. Same way, depending upon the different ignorance, this thing, the same person takes it. But having said that, this Agni is independent of that. So Agni is there. You are burning it. In Bhilai you are seeing molten Agni. Somewhere you are seeing gas stove Agni. All these different shapes and colors of Agni, does it change the physical properties of Agni? No. When you will have to study it in a textbook, you will study it in the same way. Inflammable, etc., whatever it is that we study. So Agni's properties remain the same. The generic quality of Agni is same. Similarly, the generic quality of Atman will remain same. Though it is everywhere present. Bahishcha. Though it is present inside everybody, even then, it does not mean it is external. It means that it is, here it is told Bahi. Bahi means literally outside. But what actually is meant is it is free, independent. How? Because Atman is what on which everything is dependent. For example, tube light. So tube light is there. So suppose I break this mobile phone. It has become old also, so I can break it also. Mobile phone, not old exactly, but nowadays they manufacture mobile phone only for 2 years, so that it lasts for 2 years. So I break this mobile phone. Will it affect the tube light? Will it affect the tube light? No, it will not affect the tube light. I break this mobile phone, it will not affect the tube light. But I have kept the mobile phone here. How do I know that the mobile phone is here? Because of the tube light? Because of the tube light, I know that the mobile phone is here. Unless there was tube light, I would have not known there was darkness. So this is revealed, this phone is revealed because of the tube light, but at the same time it is independent of this phone. But if I destroy the tube light, phone, the tube light will not be destroyed. But if I destroy the tube light, this phone will not be revealed. So I will not be able to see this without. So suppose tube light is Brahman, say. So without Brahman, I will not be able to see anything. Without the basis, I will not. So Brahman is Dhyautaka, that is the Sanskrit word, revealer. Dhyautaka, the root is Dhyu. Dhyu means light. So that reveals, it reveals whatever is there in this world. But without that, I cannot see this. But even if it goes away, it will not. So that is why it is independent of what it is revealing. It is independent of what it is revealing. It is revealing some object, but it is independent of it. But without it, that object cannot be. So that is why, though this Atman is there in every one of you, somebody dies, somebody gets some disease, somebody gets fever, the Atman will not die, it will not get disease, it will not get fever. Now let me share one thing about memorizing. You see, we have all known that particularly in the Indian tradition, people are told to memorize things. Memorize the tables, memorize this, and we all thought that this is not correct. Teaching system is wrong. We should not memorize. Okay. So there is one person about whom I have told you earlier also, V.S. Ramachandran. He is the director of Brain Cognition Center in the University of California, San Diego complex. He is considered to be the topmost neuroscientist today in the world. And he was recently given Padma Vibhushan also, Padma Bhushan by India. So he is a dual citizen both of United States and India. In his book, one book, Telltale Brain, one book I have already mentioned, Phantoms in the Brain. This is another book, Telltale Brain. There he says, you see, memory is very interesting in our neurology. This neurology is very interesting. So memory, what is that is interesting in memory? When you learn something, that remains in a particular place in our brain. And that place, brain has got a particular mapping actually. Everything, whatever we do has a particular place in the brain. One of the first person to do this main brain mapping was Wilder Penfield in 1925. He made this map, which is now called Penfield map, and afterwards lot of advanced maps have been made, because now we have what is called fMRI, functional MRI. So this brain is there. There is a memory which is acquired by learning, etc. There is a memory of seeing things. I see you, I ask your name, you tell me your name and all. This is stored in some other place. But the memory of learning by, in Bengali Mukhasta Kora, or in Hindi Ratta Mara, or in English learning by rote, by hearting, the place for that in brain is different from all these places. In fact, it is very, very primitive place. I mean, that place is a place where you keep things like the thing for survival. You see, suppose somebody is going to come and hit you, we all run with amazing speed actually. A person who has never run in his life will, or her life, will run very fast when somebody is going to hit you. These things are stored in a very different portion, not the advanced part of your human brain. And it is there where, near to that, where when somebody learns something by hearting or by rote or ratta marke, that is stored there. So in cases where neurological problems happened, brain damage were there, or what we call lesions were there in brain, in places where this learning happens or memory happens, that person forgot all other things, but whatever that person had memorized by ratta marna, that person remembered it. So multiplication tables, I remembered. Algebra the person forgot, calculus the person forgot, but multiplication. So if you have what you call principles of calculus, if you have learnt by Ratta Maharaj, maybe you may remember that. So you see, it is not so bad after all. Neurology so shows that to Ratta Marna utna bura bhi nahi hai, no? Learning by rote is not that bad after all. So there are so many interesting things. Neurology, in fact I am now studying neurology. So neurology is such an interesting thing. The other day I went to a place and it's called Institute of Engineering and Management. It's there in Salt Lake. It's quite old now. And there they called me for an orientation program of students. Last year also they had called. So some of students liked it. So for their misfortune and my good fortune, I went. So when I went there, after the program was over, I was coming back to the ashrama. The person who was coordinating that, the professor, he introduced me to another professor and said that there is something interesting, he will talk to you. And on the way, he told me something. Actually, the person said that I will tell this, but most of the people who listen to me think that I am mad. I am mad. So I think that you will not think so, and that is why I am telling you this. What is that? So this person does some meditation, etc. Did not actually learn from somebody, but somebody taught, but not exactly meditation, whatever it is little confused, but that person used to do meditation. And after half an hour of meditation, the person used to find himself out of his own body, and used to see him sitting in meditation pose. Now when the person started, there are certain things by which you can understand in psychology or even psychiatry whether a person is mad or not. Means basic mota mota. So the moment somebody is going to beat me or something, I should be cautious. No? So that much I know. So I knew that this person may not be mad, and he was a functional. Even if he was mad, he was functional. He was giving classes in a big institute, etc. Then the person said that I get these experiences. I said okay. What happened was, one day some years back, in the morning 6 o'clock, this person sat for meditation and went out of body, until 8 o'clock in the night could not go back to his body. So in fact, who does not like such supernatural abilities? So the person was actually enjoying it, going out of the body, thoda idhar udhar ghum ke, etc. and had corroborated this. The person saw that somebody's father was ill, went back to the body and called that person and said, do you know your father, you please find out the well-being of your father. And he found out that it was true that the father was admitted to the hospital and died, etc. So many times he had checked it, quite scientific I should say. But then this happened, and the whole family, you can imagine a person sitting in meditation and sitting like that as like a stone for 6 to 8, that means what, 12 plus another 14 hours, and not coming back, and so he was in a great predicament. He said that. So whatever I understood, I said, you first stop meditating. I told him that don't meditate. He said also, I feel so much drawn to this bhajans, etc. whenever such things are happening. You see, our brain has got a very interesting functional mechanism. So on the face of it, it appears that it is because of some devotional thing, but no, that is what the brain will, or the neural networks will make that person believe, or even me. But no, I understood immediately that it has got some physical background. Then I came to this book, and in that book he says that in the prefrontal cortex, a particular gyrus, there is a place, if there is a damage to that, people will get out of body experiences. So then again I went back to, now already 1 month had passed, but again I called that person, I called another doctor. I said, you find out who is the best neurologist, but unfortunately this person stays in Howrah, so anyway he will have to come to Kolkata. I called him, I said, you come with all your medical history. So you see, it has got nothing spiritual about it. It's just a lesion somewhere in that person's prefrontal cortex of brain, and that makes that person experience actually out of body experience, which he is not at all making up.
But it is making him spiritual, like calmness and whatever the meditation.
No, it is not making it. See, that is another interesting. This person is very rational. He said, Swamiji, you see, what worries me is, had it been a spiritual experience, I should have got happiness, I should have got bliss. But after this, I feel famished, I feel tired, I feel fatigued. So this is not spiritual experience. So that much sense he had got. Anyway, even then he used to get fatigue, etc. after that whole experience. So he was clear in his thing. Now this, what we are going to do is, we are going to get into touch with some neurologists, because you see, all doctors think they know everything. So if I go to a doctor and say, please send an email to Ramachandran, he will not do. So I will have to give some time to him, and then when he says nothing is happening, then I can show him this and ask him to, because if I send a mail, this person is so busy a person, he may not even reply. So I will ask him to send some letter, etc. in his letterhead, and we will try to find some solution. So see, neurology is interesting. Anybody wants Nirvikalpa Samadhi, it can be given. All we need is an electrode to be placed in the interpretative cortex of your brain, and I can give you whatever Samadhi you want. You want to see any Devi Devata darshan, whatever Devi Devata you think of, you will get the darshan. You can talk to that Devata also. But the problem is, there will be no transformation of your character. All
It's actually hallucination. When people, what they do through drugs.
No, drugs may not give it this much, so vivid. Yeah. LSD actually does that. LSD gives that, but problem with LSD is, it leaves a lesion. Frequent use of such drugs damages the brain. So you see, our brain is an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing, yes.
That man would have got some training on spirituality. I think he could have got at the IIT. Why this is
This is a physical thing, we cannot confuse this. He has got some training on spirituality, he has read so many books, etc.
So the Mara's test is the bliss, happiness, what it should come. If it comes, then that is spiritual. If it is not.
No, that is not the litmus test, you got it quite wrong. Litmus test is whether there is a transformation in your character.
You can see the deep essence notice board. I was one living I have put. That's given by Swami Narasimhananda. Are you progressing spiritually?
Yes, I told about that, I think, last time.
It is there in the notice board, deep essence notice board, and if one wants to, you can see in the main building. Narasimhananda was saying, are you progressing spiritually? Then these things you can observe. So, couple of lines written there.
So the litmus test is actually, if you want litmus test, the acid test, the test is that you will have no doubts. You will have no doubts about the realization or about your personality, etc. If you think whether it is correct or not, that means it is not true. It should be doubt free, there will be no questions, you will be beyond doubts. And also, all this bliss, why I am telling you, see, just because I read neurology, and that was given to me by my Guru Ranganathananji, this idea, I first got intrigued by neurology because I translated his book, What Neurology and What Lies Beyond. It is actually a address he gave in 1975 in the All India Neurological Conference. Imagine, this monk was invited as a chairperson. So I was wondering, why was he invited? And I saw him reading a book, Zen and the Brain, written by a person called James H. Austin. He is a practicing neurologist, but also he is a Zen practitioner also. And it is quite technical book. He, along with the help of a MBBS doctor who is a monk of our order, also was the sevak of Ranganathanji at that time. He was reading that book just before his passing away. So actually he was not reading something. Usually when we are old, what do we read? We read what we can understand, right? We read what we can understand. We have already understood some languages, we know languages, we just read to, we don't learn things at that age, not at least at that age of 97. At that age of 97, he was learning neurology. Why? Because I know that Maharaj, he used to note down things which Maharaj did not understand and go and ask neurologists and come back with an explanation. At 97, he was actually learning neurology. So this is what he used to himself say, Jignyasa, Jnatumicha. the yearning for knowledge. I want to know more, more, more. So anyway, this neurology, by learning these things of neurology, now I know that just because I am seeing Vishnu or Narayana does not mean I have got spiritual realization. Just because I am getting so much of joy in this body does not mean I have got spiritual realization. But what does spiritual realization then will bring? I will have no doubt about the illusoriness of this world or the permanence of Brahman. That will not be there. Vidyante hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayaha. All the doubts will be dispelled, and that alone will be. So you see how, if you know science, people think that religion is dogmatic and science, knowing science will actually take you away from. No, I don't think so. People don't have patience to learn science. It requires a lot of patience. You just imagine reading neurology books. It requires patience actually. You read neurophysiology or whatever, it requires patience. But if you read, you understand, knowledge gives you clarity, definitely at all levels, even the empirical knowledge gives you clarity. By knowing this, now I am clear what I should do. I am able to practice spirituality better by understanding the knowledge of neurology. See, so this is what, nothing actually takes you away from, but people don't want to read books. एक तो कठा उपनिषद पढ़ो, ऊपर से ये भी पढ़ो, नहीं चाहिए भैया, बाबा रे बाबा. So that is what. So you don't want to. Oh. That's what I told you. In fact, a electrode, a small pulse. These are siddhi.
A person can cure any other person or give something.
These are only mental powers. These are only mental powers. Anybody, a mentalist can do that. You can bend a spoon. What is the great deal in that? So many people do. They are called mentalists. Al-Quran was a great mentalist. If you have not read the book, what is the book? Bring out the magic of your mind. How to bring out the magic of your mind. It's a very inspirational and motivational book. I read it long back and now it is available on Flipkart. In between it was not available at all. I was searching. Now it is available. Somebody has reprinted it. So he was a mentalist. He was a person who could, so he was like, he said, no, I am not a magician, I am a mentalist. So somebody, somewhere else in the world, the other part of the world, somebody thought of a number and then called this person, and he used to do shows. You have this all there in YouTube now. No, this Al-Quran, it is there in YouTube, you can see. So somebody has thought a number and here he will correctly tell you what is the number. Somebody will write 2 days back, earlier somebody has written something and he will correctly tell you what that person has written. So this is just a mental power. Though just a mental power means lot of practice, lot of concentration, even that. But that will take you away from the goal. If you don't believe it, please read you can read Bengali, so please read the Bengali version of Katha Amrita where Sri Ramakrishna, I don't want to, or I will rather, it is quite unparliamentary language. So where he explains what his vision of Siddhi. And the English translation does not come anywhere near. After reading that you cannot, once me and some other Swamiji who was there in America for quite some time, we translated it in American English just for the fun sake of it. You know, you cannot, after reading that description, you cannot even think of Siddhi. Siddhi will not lead you. Patanjali Yoga Sutra says that these things, these powers will actually deflect you from the Samadhi. So the goal is not to attain some powers. Like Sri Ramakrishna in very nicely in a parable as he was want to use, he says, see the person, a person did austerities for 12 years and then his brother came and he said, what you can do now? So he said, I can cross the river. You can cross the river barefoot, I can just cross the river. I said, why do you bother so much? You just give 25 paisa and that boatman will take you. So after so much of struggle you can do only this. What does it? It doesn't make any sense. So that is what our goal should be very clearly defined. So just like Agni is there into everything, but still it is different and it is separate. Similarly the same, see Agni.
Maharaj, this person was having some physical injury in frontal cortex, but he can see if someone's father release or something is happening. So how did he got Siddhi because of mental?
I was just wondering why is nobody asked. Actually our brain again is very, This is one thing which criminology is using now. So I am sitting in a what you call platform. Okay, I am just sitting in a platform, say Howrah station. So many things are happening around me, right? So I am not even aware of. But if there is a test, if that test is done, suppose some crime happened in that place, my brain will be able to tell me that, tell that person. That information is stored in my brain. I might not have even noticed, but that information, all the sounds are there in my brain. So similarly, it is quite complicated. Actually, there are so many things which we cannot explain, which are there in the brain, and those things it will tell you. You see, they are all bordering on extrasensory perception, ESP, that is what it is called. For example, when I meet somebody, this happens to all of us. When we meet somebody, we can immediately make some idea about the nature of that person, whether the person is going to be amicable to me or hostile to me, etc. All these are hardware. There is place in brain which actually helps me to see. Another one, so you see this extrasensory perception, which we call extrasensory perception, knowing about things which is happening, is all there in the brain itself. There is neurological explanation. Why? Because if you charge some neurons, or as they call it, fire some neurons in the brain, people will actually come to know of things which are not there in their eyesight, near vision. How does that happen? So even physically we are able to do so many things. Sri Ramakrishna's life, we find an incident. Neurology is so amazing, I tell you. I kept on talking till 2 o'clock in the night recently about neurology. So the other person said, hey, I accept that you have got interest in neurology. So neurology is so amazing. Sri Ramakrishna's incident, we know that there were some boatmen, or were they fishermen? Anyway, boatmen. Quarreling and one person bait another person, and Sri Ramakrishna's back became reddened, right? There is lot of research on what happens. Suppose you beat me, the place in the brain which gets charged when I get a pain, the same place gets charged when I see a pain. There is no difference, there is no separate place. Same place of the brain, same area of the brain gets activated when I see a person getting beaten. So when I am witness to a pain also, same. Then how is that I don't say, I don't cry? You see, when somebody beats me, this touch sensation is there. There are different neurons which work on this. So brain is we think that when I see something, usually what do we say? I see something, there is an inverted image of it on the retina, and then my brain optic nerve. Actually there are 30 cells or 30 departments working together to see anything. 30, not 1, not 2, 30. So what brain does is, as Ramachandran borrowing his imagery, it sends this input, sensory input, and it also puts so many departments in CC. Like we send email, CC, and then all the department confirm it. And then the brain, this all happens and so fast it happens. And then the brain says, yes, Professor Somnath is sitting in front of you, baffled about why neurology in Katha Upanishad, like that, something. So now you see, this is what happens. Similarly, when I see the pain, then the touch department says, oh, pain is there. The brain already is activated, it is seeing pain. But the touch department says, pain is there, but it is not your pain, so don't bother. Don't bother. But Sri Ramakrishna had such a evolved brain, even physically he was evolved. He had such an evolved brain that even the pain of that person was given by sensory input, that message went that it is your pain, and his body became reddened. This is only a reaction of the body. Why does body become reddened? It is a reaction of the body to prevent against pain or some kind of infection. See, neurology. And if you go and do Googleynama, you will find lot of research on, it is called empathy, neurology of empathy, empathy cells. So what is empathy? Why do we feel, you see, a person is dying, why do we feel, have you ever thought about it? Why do we feel so, even in the modern society when we are all indifferent, we feel bad. Why? because we are hardwired to feel bad. Because when we were in jungle, caveman, if a tiger is going to come and kill the person who is sitting in front of me, it will eventually kill me also. So God gave us this hardware which will protect me in the beginning itself, advance. It will say, hey, look, now it is going to come to you. Neurology is wonderful. So, yes.
Why this limitation then? Suppose I give my brain to a neuroscientist. He can't analyze my brain and to tell me what kind of thoughts I have.
It is not true actually. To a great extent they can tell you.
They can find out by analyzing.
Yeah. To a great extent. They will not be able to exactly tell what thought, but they will, many things can be told. Like you have got what kind of category. You have angry thoughts, you have happy thoughts, you have sorrow thoughts. So many things can be done. Maybe technology will increase and one day you will be able to, mind reading will become through machine. We don't know. So anyway, so just like this, so this is, you see, gas burner. It looks like water drops, but still the same fire. And this is the campfire kind of thing. Now all this is same fire. Similarly, the next mantra talks about wind. Vayur yathaiko bhuvanam pravishto rupam प्रतिरूपो बभूव एकस्तथा सर्वभूतांतरात्मा रूपम प्रतिरूपो बहिश्च. The meaning is same, only difference is that there it was fire, here it is air. Just like air enters into different places, but still water also, you can say water enters into this, it is there. And water enters into bucket, etc. It is the same water and nothing happens to the water, no change comes to water. Similarly, fire enters into this, etc. Your mouth or particular this thing, a bottle, here also air is there, everywhere air enters, but nothing happens to air itself. Similarly, Atman is there in every one of us, but it is independent of it. It has been already explained. Any question? Speechless. Okay. No questions?
I have different questions after it.
No, it's over. Now you can, yes. You have any question?
It's the oxygen that enters and carbon dioxide that comes out. So something happens to the air.
Oxygen enters, very good. Oxygen enters and carbon dioxide comes out. So oxygen enters and carbon dioxide comes out, but here that entering is not being told. You are putting air in a process, no? Like you need air for fire. When you need air for fire, oxygen enters even in a combustion, and carbon dioxide or whatever this, that is not being discussed here. What is being discussed is when air goes into different container or spaces, not into a process. Okay. Just like what, then if you take water's example also same thing. If you see, then if it goes to a process of say freezing, then it water, and or if it goes to a process of heating, it will become vapor, etc. That is not what is being told. It is just different containers.
In today's world, we find some of the psychiatrists, they can make the patient go into their past life to treat the patient.
There is no empirical proof for that.
But there is
Past life regression therapy, it's quite profitable, it makes good business, but there is no empirical proof for that. You are a science person, you can tell. That I don't know. I don't know about the legality of it. No, I don't think it is illegal because so many people are practicing. Of course, many people do illegal things. So, huh? You see, past life is true. But this past life regression therapy, I doubt. I doubt because it cannot be verified. How do you verify? Past life is true. Oh, that is that's only logical explanation for the different behavior patterns we have. Blah 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 blah. But for more detailed analysis, we will have to sit together, and this is something you can read Jnana Yoga of Swamiji where he explains. There are so many books on this subject. But that is the only thing. For example, in the same house, two children are there. There is no genetic, no DNA, nothing in the so many generations of their house. Suddenly, one boy becomes a rogue. Or so many things. Huh? That is logical fallacy. Just because you have made one hypothesis, that is law of karma. Law of karma is essentially an hypothesis. To make that hypothesis stand good, you are creating another hypothesis. That will be logic. If I say that, it will be logical fallacy.
In Shastras, the example is there of that calf. Calf going wrong, and immediately can find out that.
Exactly. So how does it happen? But no, that Shastra example cannot be told now, because now biology will come and tell that is genetics. So you have to give something which will stand the test of science. Yeah, but again, what I am telling is that is not verifiable. Suppose you come and tell that, hey, you are talking so much, in the past life you were an idiot. So I know that in this life also I am an idiot, but still if you tell that, how do I verify it? There is no verifiability. Sahaja Samadhi. You see, no, whatever advance, I have myself some experience before coming to Ramakrishna Mission. I have also dabbled with lot of schools of meditation. One thing I will tell you, whatever does not hold water in rationality or scientific mentality, I'm not convinced of that. So suddenly somebody says, I found many people who were cured of different psychological disorders after this past life regression therapy. Many people, in fact one of my very close friend who happens to be also a IIT PhD, he had lot of problems. He said, I went to some particular, a very big organization it has done lot of, they do this past life regression also. And he said that I was told why I am doing this. So by the fruit I say, okay, at the end of the day that person got some sane understanding of life. But if somebody comes and tell me that in your past life you were this, how can you verify? So past life, there was a study of a person called Shanti Devi, which was organized by Mahatma Gandhi himself. You see, she was there in Mathura. We have brought out a book called Religious Behavior and Spiritual Experience, Advaita Ashrama, in that we have that. So she had lot of explanation about exactly where she was born, etc. A team of more than 7 people was formed, a committee was formed, and they studied her. Shakuntala Devi thing, no? Shakuntala Devi. No, not that Shakuntala, this is different. I don't know, Shanti Devi or something. So not that, so their team was formed and they all studied whether what she is telling is correct. They all went to the place, found out. So out of the blue she could tell that yes, I was born there, etc., 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 and it was documented. So if you can verify something, okay. In Zee TV once they showed one young boy, he was born with a bullet wound near his abdomen, no, towards the left side, and they found that he was a son of a Jamindar in Mathura, and he used to, then he went there and he knew everybody by name. He told the name, tumhara ye bachcha hai, vagara, everybody was astonished, and he, young boy, he was flirting with big woman, etc. Then they saw, oh, how is he behaving like this? Then finally they found out that he was that person. So anything which can be verified, okay. But past life regression therapy, how do you verify? And because they don't do it in one life, they say that this life you were this, then earlier life you were this, for 4 janmas they go on doing. How do you know? And they don't give you any proof. They just say that you see, in psychology, people put in psychoanalysis, sometimes this practicing clinical psychologists, they put patients in what you call hypnosis. That is, and they start telling so many things. In schizophrenia, people can make up so many things. So mind is an interesting thing. It can make up, I know of a person who made up days and days of activities. I just counseled, or in my own way, I am not a professional psychologist or anything, my own way psychoanalyzed that person, and that person went on telling me days and years of activity which never happened. Complete imagination, because 100% schizophrenia. So delusion can bring that. If I put you in a delusional state, you can think that I was Emperor Nero. Okay, what? How do I verify it? Any questions?
Please allow me to say that we start with a beautiful benediction every day. Why don't we conclude with a benediction?
It's a wonderful question. We can conclude. Brahmarpanam. No, Brahmarpanam, usually it has become so associated with food, you know now. You know this in Ramakrishna mission. Ramakrishna, no, you see suddenly this mind, I will tell you one interesting joke that, no, Om Tastat, Hari Om Tastat. Yeah, this is, I was also thinking for quite some time now. So this, in Belur Mutt, we have a set of songs which are sung when somebody passes away. So Belur Mutt is a registered cremation ground. That Samadhi, that is a cremation ground under Key municipality, Bali municipality. It is a cremation ground, and we are tax free, of course. So most of the, in training center we are taught how to cremate somebody. So be careful. So anyway, that cremation and all we do, we are trained in all departments of life. So sorry, not all departments of life, cremation also. You have to be very careful not telling. So anyway, cremation is there. So some people sing so many songs. Over the years, some songs, Oi je dekha jaye Anando Dham, etc. Now it has so happened that if somebody sings those songs somewhere else, say, gan korbe na koriyo na koriyo na, more jabe kyun? It is only for death, that 4 or 5 songs only for death, so mortal. And sometimes kakataliya, it is just coincidental that once somebody sang that song and somebody died. Dekho tumi ye gan kore che bole, more galo. So don't sing that song. Similarly, Brahmarpanam is so associated with food. Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat